All right, guys, what's up, YouTube? I'm here with one and only Karceno. We're talking about UFC on versus 4. I think the card is going to be pretty good, with a good preliminary card. But you know me, if you've been watching my channel since the beginning, I don't do preliminary cards. I'm thinking of starting them next year, but let's get on with the main event, or the main card. First fight of the night will be Matt Mitrione versus Christian Morecraft. Matt Mitrione, tough 10 veteran, hasn't lost a fight, 4-0, always improving. Morecraft, he's doing. I respect him as a fighter, but I see Mitrione coming in the fight, winning the decision or technical knockout in the second or third round. Karceno, what would be your opinion of Matt Mitrione over the past few years?
Matt Mitrione has improved a lot as far as getting himself in more condition. When he first started off, I didn't think this guy was going to have any type of conditioning to compete. But I think Morecraft is going to show him something in that fight. Because if he can't get Morecraft out of there early, it's going to be a tough fight for Mitrione. Morecraft has better conditioning than him. So if it's a fight that goes to distance, I want to see how well he survives, like if he breaks down during the fight. But he's more experienced, Mitrione, as far as like people's applying pressure. He doesn't panic in the ring. He's the most relaxed fighter that I've seen in the ring in martial arts.
You got to be relaxed. If you panic, you're not going to do well. That's why I see Matt Mitrione doing well. You know,
and he's pretty quick. He's gotten a lot quicker.
Former NFL player. You know, he has the conditioning. He has some pretty good conditioning, but you know, that's different from NFL to MMA. You know, MMA, you're consistently training. You know, you're just doing benching. You're not stopping. If you've ever heard of CrossFit, that's what it's always like. It's CrossFit 24. It's basically CrossFit 24/7. Which you know, it's been good. I've been happy to see him grow as a fighter in the last year and a half, from being kind of a crybaby in the top 10, you know, not wanting to do some workouts, you know, being like saying, "Oh, my arm's injured, you know, I can't do this workout," to being, you know, a guy.
Yeah, something else on that show.
He said that, you know, and a guy who's able to go the distance, which he did back in UFC 119, and defeating guys like Joey Beltran, Kimbo Slice, and Marcus Jones, and you know, knocking the guys. I think, knocking them out, showing that, you know, Kimbo Slice, he was the underdog in that fight, and he basically kicked Kimbo's ass from the whole fight.
Yeah. But Kimbo couldn't fight. I mean, he's a street fighter. You gotta have some sort of skill and some type of training and discipline to do this. And Kimbo, it's hard to do that when you're in your 30s. To try to learn this.
Late 30s.
Right. You know, it's really hard to pick it up. Your body's not used to doing this type of activity, and then you have to take it seriously. You know, Kimbo's already was a big name, and they were just making money off of his name.
All right, well, let's get on with the next fight. I don't like to spend too much time on this fight. Next fight, Matt Brown versus John Howard. Now, both of them coming off losing streaks. Matt Brown has 3. He's 11-10. He should have been cut. A lot of analysts are saying that he should have been cut years ago. Still around. You know, Dana White must like the guy a lot if he's still around. And he's going against John Howard, which both of them, they both lack jiu-jitsu ground game. They've come off, most of their losses have come by submission, and their last losing streaks, you know, a lot of them have come by submission. John Howard, however, he lost to Thiago Alves via decision back at UFC 125. Now, to see this fight, who are you picking in this fight?
It's hard. It's hard for me to pick Brown in this fight. I think it's going to be a striking contest, and if Brown can get him on the ground, if he has any type of ground game, this will be beneficial for him, because the only thing John's going to do, is Howard's going to do, is box him.
Yeah.
His ground game is like 0.
Yeah.
And he just wants to keep it on his feet. But this should be an entertaining fight. That's why they haven't cut Matt Brown. Matt Brown gives you an exciting fight. You know,
but you got to still say, like, you know, Dana White has stated, if you lose 3 in a row, you are automatically cut. He has stated that.
Yeah, but it depends on how you lose the 3. It could be 3 tough decisions. It could be split decisions, 1-point losses. So UFC is a lot different from boxing. You know, it's hard to give it a guy who could have basically the fight could have went either way. You know, like if you get blown out in the first round, 3 straight fights, yeah, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know, that's automatic. But
it's kind of like the same thing with Stephen Bonner. He's been around. He's 7 or he's 8, 6, 7.
American Psycho is my favorite.
He went 3-fight losing streak. John Jones, Coleman, and Krzysztof Soczynski. But then he's come back with the win over Krzysztof Soczynski and Igor Pekabarek or something. I think that's his name. It just shows that, you know, there's some guys that should have been cut, but, you know, Stephen Bonner always gives us a very exciting fight.
He's not going anywhere. The American Psycho is here to stay. Put him on my card and I'm watching it.
Alright, now, I want to go to the next fight, you know, co-main event. Congo, Barry, both kickboxers, you know, I tweeted both of them, trying to get maybe an answer back, thinking that, you know, one of them might have to, you know, switch it up. You know, if it goes kickboxing, it can go either way. But, you know, if it stays kickboxing, I'm going with Congo all the way due to their long reach advantage and the size advantage over Barry, which Barry is this, you know, he's basically a midget in the heavyweight division at 5'11" or 5'10", around that range. But I asked them both. They haven't replied back saying if one of them's going to wrestle. And I say, you know, if one of them wrestles, it can go either way. Congo showed in his last fight with Bravish Brown, he can go clinch, you know. He originally would have won that fight if he wasn't deducted that point. Which shows, you know, he would have, it shows that his game plan, he can change his game plan from being total kickboxing, which is, he isn't the most successful fighter in the UFC. I'm going to say that. He's not the most successful. But he does a great job. Now, the question is, who are you taking? Should they do wrestling? And do you think Congo's gonna hit? Is he gonna evolve?
This is gonna be a standing match. There'll be no wrestling.
It could.
Both guys are tailor-made to do the same thing. So it's like a sigh of relief for both guys. They're gonna strike. That's just it. There's gonna be kicks and punches all the way through. No one's gonna grab anybody in this fight. There are going to be a lot of them standing around looking for openings. There's going to be a lot of low kicks and high kicks in this fight. Barry's going to look for openings. The right hand.
Do that to Quintello, take him to the ground, and, you know, beat on him for 3 rounds.
Yeah, but I doubt if he does that against a guy like this. Because he can go in there and Barry hits him with a short shot. It can knock him out. I don't think he's going to take that risk. Yeah, he's had a better advantage because this plays him. Barry's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to want to kick the legs, kick high. He's a shorter guy. He can kick over his head if he wanted to. To throw a high shin kick, oh, that's perfect. He's 5'8", perfect for a kick to the head and knock him out and get a victory. But this is the type of fight he wants to be in. He wants to be in a completely striking match, in a striking fight.
Yeah, but I've been seeing like he's declined a little bit over, you know, his fight with Mirko Krokop. He's a kickboxer too, and he just didn't do well against the fight. He did lose the fight via rear naked choke, kind of, you know, a crappy rear naked choke, you know, not really full on rear naked choke, but still, he still got outstruck by him.
That's true, but it's going to be the type of fight that he prefers. It's a striking fight. We all know if he goes to the ground that the fight is all over, basically. So for him, he wants to just be aggressive and strike. Plus, Krokop is a great striker too. They both have the same game.
But his chin is not that great.
No, his chin isn't that great, but you know, he's good enough to throw. He's one of the best kickers in the sport of MMA. So Krokop has the most knockout by kicks than probably anybody in the game. So, you know, it's going to be a good fight. I'm going to take Chikongo because of his record and his experience. I mean, the kid's been doing it since he was 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know, doing kickboxing. So I like consistency, so I'm going to stick with him. But Barry might land some good short shots if he get a chance. But I think the height advantage will throw them all off.
And one more question. Do you think Congo will evolve at all? we've seen him evolving a little bit, Pantello going to the ground and Brown going in the clinch. It's showing that he is evolved. He's working with guys like Rampage and Bisping. But
I don't think he's evolving. I think he's already gotten to the level that he's going to be at probably for the rest of his career. It's hard to change. Like, you can teach them one or two new things at this age, but sometimes it don't stick. Like Rampage trying some new things in this fight. But those are just like things you might see once and then you don't see them back anymore. And they go back to what they've been training for 10, 15 years, that they are more experienced and more comfortable at. And I doubt if he's going to take risks that it might cause him to lose a fight that he could have won just being himself. And I don't think he needs to try any tricks in this fight. This fight is designed for his style of fighting. And that's just completely kick it.
Nice.
Sorry about that.
So that's co-main event. Now, main event, Marquardt versus Story. Now, Story's taking the fight on a short notice after he defeated his great, he accomplished his greatest accomplishment as defeating former challenger, great kickbox, great Muay Thai striker, great, overall well-rounded fighter, Thiago Alves. Now that's Thiago Alves now. Thiago Alves is, he hasn't done, every fighter declines, but I say he could come back. Now, he's going against a guy named Nate Marquardt. He trains in Colorado with big guys, with Shane Carwin, Rashad Evans, and George St. Pierre. Now he's fighting since Nate Marquardt has dropped to 170, we're going to see a little bit of a conditioning advantage, but a strength disadvantage in both, but I pick Marquardt in the fight due to the training partners he's working with now. If you can go for the guy like Shane Carwin, who's 250 to 260 pounds, you're golden. You're golden for success. You're going to be able to throw the guy around. And also, Nate Marquardt is a great wrestler. He can counter the wrestling. He's great. He's great, well-rounded. I think he's going to stuff Rick Story's takedowns and keep the fight standing, or take, reverse it, sprawl him to the ground and take his back and just, tire him out and, working for the choke or working for the submission or go for the decision. Now, questions to you. Obviously, who are you taking for the fight? Is this a good move for Marquardt?
No.
And, not a good move for Marquardt. I think it is. But we'll discuss that.
It is for a fan of the sport who's going to like to see a ground game, because this is going to the ground. And this is going to be a fight where they're going to be working on the ground, working for position, shooting, and a lot of people don't like it. They think that slugfest, a little jabs. They're both going to try to take each other down. I think Story's going to try to throw some strikes and get him, but he's not. He's going to try to want to keep it on his feet. Because if Marquardt gets him down, it's going to be over for him. Mm-hmm. I think he got enough conditioning to hold him off and maybe turn him over. But Marquardt is great on the ground when he gets a guy like this on the ground. I mean, the guys, they're almost the same height, but still.
He was able to go with Rosemir Palaharis, but he did get the little cheap shot there. He was able to get out of the submission. It's obviously showing that his jiu-jitsu ground game has gotten better over his years. But the thing is, with him going to 170, he can't stand with the big guys at 185. He lost to Yushin Okami. He can't fight, wrestlers like Chael Sonnen. He can't beat guys like Anderson Silva. I think 170 is probably the best weight for him. It's because, he needs all the advantages he can get. He needs to be in order to be great, you should at least have height advantage over most guys, and he will in the 170 division.
Oh yeah, because he's going to come in there large. That's just like Rampage. Rampage is really too big for that weight class. That's why he's so strong. But he's too small to fight 235 and up. But he's really a 235-pound guy. He just really sweats down to keep his weight low to fight at that weight class. That's why Rampage is so strong with his punches. Because the guys that he fighting are normally little guys who are really naturally that weight. But he sweats down because he's naturally a bigger guy. And the same thing for Marquardt. His power is going to be a difference in this fight because he's naturally a 185, naturally 195 big guy, sweating down to 170. So by the time fight day,
there is guys, who walk around at 200 pounds, like Anthony Johnson and Thiago Alves. He can do this. It won't be, the biggest challenge for him, like those guys have to do. So I think you're saying it might be it's an okay move. You don't like the move, but again, MMA, you need a lot of advantages. John Jones could be a heavyweight due to the reach. He can be a heavyweight. He has.
But it's more beneficial for him to fight at that light heavyweight division. And plus, that's where all the big fighters at, like Rampage and all these other guys. That's there, Rashad Evans. All these guys are big guys. Rashad is a big guy. And he sweat down to make it that weight class because it's a good weight class to contend. And all these younger guys were too small. But now they have a lot of guys who are doing the same thing as them. They're bigger guys, too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, the successful guys at that weight class, all guys who were bigger, who sweated down to make that weight. Because Shogun, who definitely is a big guy, he's big for that weight class. The only guy that's not really big for that weight class that's successful is Lyoto Machida. Machida is naturally that weight. But he wins because of his skill. He's a natural martial artist. And that carries you a long way. And people are seeing that. That's why his strikes are so. He doesn't need a lot of strikes to put you out. Just certain strikes, 2-3 open strikes will put you in dreamland.
But he does a lot of backing up, which just shows he couldn't strike with I think he outstruck Rampage. I think he outstruck. I don't think he outstruck Shogun. In that first fight. The second fight, he got destroyed. Not in the striking, but he did go to the ground once, and he did have the top position once, and then it changed. But I think Lyoto Machida is the real mixed martial arts UFC champion. It's mixed martial arts. He uses mixed martial arts in it. He is the only martial artist who uses Machida karate to his advantage. You don't see GSP has Koshin or I don't know how to say it, like karate background, but you don't see him using it that much. He can do spin kicks. He can do spin kicks. He doesn't show it that much. He's not like Lyoto Machida, who's like doing jumping kicks. He did a crane kick to Randy Couture. It shows that he is the natural mixed martial art champion in my book. We're getting off track right now.
We disagree on is the Joe Stevenson Javier Vasquez card. I want to squeeze that one in, particularly. Yeah. Me and you disagree on this fight.
Well,
because you think Javier Vasquez can win. This is Joe Big Daddy Stevens. I know you think he's done. He lost 3 fights in a row.
No, I'm not saying he's lost. Not because of that. It's just he can't go with high competition anymore. He got knocked out by Takanori Gomi, which I thought he was going to be able to go, throw this guy around. He got knocked down in the first round, in the first minute. Same with Mac Dazing. He got knocked out in the first round.
I do think that this is a showcase fight for Javier, but this is a good fight. If he gets a knockout over Stevenson's done.
Totally.
And that's it. There's no more
Give him the next Ultimate Fighter to leave. We've already got now we've got 3. We have Travis Lutter, we have Efren Escudera, and we have Kendo Grove, who have been all 3 have been released. And if he loses this next fight, he'll be the 4th, which is pretty quick. It's way too quick to be losing those Ultimate Fighter winners.
Yeah.
They're the Ultimate Fighters. They're the ones who go through the competitions.
He'll be gone. It depends. If he gets knocked out, like a lot of people think he's going to get, he'll be gone. But I think he's going to try to shoot. He's going to get this fight to the ground, and then he's going to go from there.
What the hell? Is there a mosquito or something?
Yeah, there's a mosquito. People opening doors, leaving doors open.
How long? Okay, I think we've gone on for a pretty long time. So,
all right.
This is.
I got Big Daddy Stevenson. I think he got one more in him.
Okay.
Come on, Big Daddy Stevenson. Don't let me down.
Check out Karceno's channel, Karceno's Twitter. I'll put the information Check out my Twitter. Check out, MMA Socialist, Facebook, the Facebook of MMA. Pretty good site. Not the best, but, you can rely on us. And I'll see you guys later. I'm sorry, man. I have to say this.
That's a horrible salesman line.
I know, but we're being honest, man. I'll see you guys later. Peace.